The Catalyst Effect podcast will document the creation of a new company called Glowbox, from concept to market. 9 out of 10 startups fail, not because the founder didn't work hard, but because the market said no. Our team knows how to build products. We know how to launch software, but markets don't care about plans. So here's the challenge. Can Glowbox reach $1 million in annual recurring revenue in just 12 months? This isn't a case study. It's a live experiment. Can it be done? Watch and find out. So last year, you and I traveled together a little bit, and we talked to hundreds of founders. We reviewed hundreds of pitch decks. And after talking to so many people and hearing their voice, because all of last season we were highlighting the voice of the founder to find out what they were doing, who they were serving, and kind of their why, what's making them do this. And we realized that there were a lot of really well-intentioned people that have identified an actual problem in the world, and 95 out of 100 of them will fail. And the 5% that succeed, a lot of times they're going to do that at a very high cost. And that kind of breaks my heart, because I'm an entrepreneurial person, but I love to see people elevate both themselves and the people around them. And I started realizing, and we started realizing this together, these folks, if they manage to get a product, then they start having people use that product, and they start to realize that either the audience, the people they're trying to sell to, their market, doesn't embrace the product, or the product isn't actually suitable for real-time distribution. And then you have all these people coming in, I want an MVP. And they'll go to the lowest bidder, and that MVP is basically a prototype. You can't do business with it. So they're like, okay, I have my MVP. I paid $60,000. Cantalo was going to charge $65,000, but I got it for $60,000. Let's take it and do a pilot. Well, they can't, because what they have is a prototype. And so even if they get something to go to market, they have what is starting to be called the product market fit gaps, which is basically you built something nobody wants or can't understand. And we found this a lot with technical founders. Javi, we talked to some really technical people who could not answer the question of who are you building for and what problem. Remember, we had one guy come on. You were really impressed talking to him. He had 3 companies running at the same time, and he couldn't answer a question, not any questions about who he was building for. It's like, really interesting technology. What problem are you solving?
Yeah.
And he couldn't answer it.
Common. It's very common to find that because I kind of identify with them sometimes because they get really excited about what their business idea is, and you know that it might work, but the whole picture is not there. So you have to understand your client first to focus on those features that are
Yep.
going to give them value, not necessarily everything that you have in your mind is gonna be helpful for them.
Yeah, and all last season I was focused on solve problems, solve problems, solve problems, build products that solve actual problems for known people. Then I realized something. Problem isn't the solution. For example, we talked to several technical founders who said, I have found a real problem. I solved that problem. I go to my audience, I go to my market, and they don't understand it. They don't understand it because they're not relieving pain.
Yeah.
Either there's, and that's why I've always said, you have a 6-step problem statement. You have audience, problem, pain, cause, consequence, and urgency. So if you're solving a problem that your customer doesn't feel, that they don't understand that it's painful, there's no consequences to leaving it unsolved, there's no urgency, then they're not going to pay for it. And
Yeah.
it's not just a matter of money. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I can give you a PDF reader that's 6% more efficient than the free PDF reader in your browser, and I will give it to you for free, I'm not going to switch. Why would I take 5 seconds out of my day to get a small improvement to something I don't feel any pain to? And so but it's really hard for people to disconnect from their idea, especially after they put so much into it. And then being able to pivot. I'm an engineer. I write code for, it's fun. That's just what I do. It's my hobby.
Yeah, and actually,
Um,
in order to build a successful company, you have to detach sometimes from your idea. You have to look at it as a business, not necessarily because you're passionate about it means that it's going to work.
so we decided that we're going to do something a little crazy. We're going to build in public. Yeah, and Kaizen, the principle of Kaizen is find the most urgent, the most painful problem in your business, fix it. Not until it's perfect, not until you love it, but to the point where it's not the most urgent problem in your business anymore. And then find the next most urgent. And then cyclically keep going. And then you'll have the opportunity to, to solve it to the point where it's operationally excellent. But
Yeah,
first, all your energy needs to go into your biggest problem, and that's one of the things that I, as a founder, lose focus on sometimes when I'm working on my own product. Is I want my product to be excellent,
yeah,
but my customer wants their pain to go away.
yeah,
They want to escape the consequences. They don't want to have to fall victim to the consequences, and their sense of urgency keeps them awake at night. Those are the problems we want to solve, and to do that, maybe there's some features that have to come later that we have to
yeah.
sacrifice.
The most
Um,
important I think is that we're on the same, on the right track, and the same track that we were when we started. It's not
yep,
like we're
that's right.
changing the path,
Yep,
and we know that this feature will not, take us away from our ultimate goal.
that's right.
And
And in fact, if we hadn't have tested this early, we wouldn't have known that it was a constraint.
yeah,
And it's a constraint. It's a consequence that our customers are falling victim to right now. We just didn't know it.
hmm,
IT department just fixed it, but our target customer doesn't have a dedicated IT department just for
yeah.
their sending infrastructure. So let's take a step back a little bit. Let's talk about the audience of where we fit smack dab in the middle of this audience. Let's talk about the audience and the problem that they're experiencing.
Well, for us, me as a marketing person, we found out that a lot of our campaigns are not reaching the right people, or
Email campaigns.
yeah, email campaigns are not going into the inbox folder. They're going to spam, or they never read it. So we were, hesitating about what is wrong. Is it our, emails, or is it about the content? Is it about I don't know. We didn't have enough information to make a change and
Yeah.
get to the right person. So after that, we found out that there is a problem, and if there's not information about what is going on with our email campaigns, we don't know where to attack the
Yeah.
problem. So
Yeah. So, in summary, we were sending emails to people that we felt need to hear our message, and we weren't hearing back from them. And eventually, we found out that it was going in the spam folder or the promotions or other
mhm,
folders.
social, any other folder, not the inbox.
Yeah. And so we learned how to solve that, but at a very high cost,
Yeah.
and very time consuming, and there's so much technical things that have to go into it because and this is what a lot of the other folks we talk to are realizing. You have to configure your DNS properly. You have to have your sender IP address be optimized. You have to have the optimal email throughput. You have to send
And
in
help with the
specific
menu.
schedules, healthy domains. You have to monitor your domains. And then you have to also have reputation management in place to ensure that Google and Microsoft and all these folks know that you are sending good emails. You have to be can spam compliant. We had a problem a couple months ago where I was sending emails to opt-ins to people who said, please send me emails about our podcast, about the events that we go to. We were sending those emails, and it actually ranked our reputation down to a point that our customers were missing their contract negotiation windows. We were sending them a new contracts, and we're getting it. Each
Dangerous.
one of our contracts on staffing is $300,000. I mean, that's high jeopardy, high stakes to
Yeah.
have go into the spam folder.
We have the same situation with one of our clients as well. They were trying to, reach out
Mhm.
within people in the company, and they were not getting emails from their boss. That's
Yeah.
also important.
Yeah, I mean that's so we start talking to some people saying, "Hey, how big is this problem?" And we've noticed that a lot of BPOs, business process outsourcing companies, they have 8 to 20 inside sales reps. They're sending 250 emails a day, and they're using one email address from one domain, and their domain is getting blacklisted.
Yeah.
And at that point, if my domain is on a blacklist, you can't send an email to me.
So, what we say it is, what are we solving for our clients? What do you think that it's the added value that Glowbox will give to our clients?
Glowbox helps people that don't have dedicated technology staff and unlimited budgets get their message in front of their audience in in a manner that they actually see it. So we say get it in the inbox,
Mm-hmm.
and we do that, and we also help tune to a point where their target audience is more likely to open it, and we do it within their current infrastructure.
Yeah.
So, old school sales guys, they'll use an Excel lead list
Mhm.
with Outlook, and they'll send a blast email. Well, it's not can spam compliant. It sends it all at one time, so it's all going in the spam folder, especially today. You can't monitor opens. You can't monitor the link tracking. You don't have any infrastructure there. With Glowbox, you do.
And do you need a tech team in order for you to make sure that your emails are going into the inbox folder? What happens if they don't?
Well, that's one of the things is right now, like we use Apollo. Apollo doesn't tell me the average placement. It only tells me if somebody opened the email or if they replied to it.
Mhm.
Um, so Glowbox, when we start taking the warm up mesh into the actual pool, instead of considering each email address as an individual unit, we pool them together and say, send this campaign in this pool. Now it auto rotates and it handles all of the stuff that none of the other tools do. But also, we put the reputation mesh right in there. So, as an email account starts losing reputation because the email is going in spam folders, we reduce the utilization of that. Um, so, we're able to say, hey, we've got X number of reputation. We've got a scoring mechanism that actually we filed a patent on. Um, and the real benefit is we're able to get all that power from your current CRMs, HubSpot, high level, Salesforce, Soho, Apollo. We've tested it on these CRMs, ClickFunnels, Outlook. We're able to get all of the power that you would have from these dedicated platforms, multiple platforms. But Glowbox handles the DNS. I wrote that code myself, and then my engineers rewrote it, but it manages the DNS. You don't need a person to do that. It monitors all the blacklists. So if any of your domains are blacklisted, we will file an appeal. We've
Mhm.
got the appeal process automated as well, where we can go and say, hold on, we have targeted lists, commercial um, recipients only. We have no we're not sending emails without unsubscribes. So there's an unsubscribe on every one. So we are sending a targeted message to people who we believe should want to receive it, and we have the ability for them to easily opt out. That is Can Spam Compliance 101. So we're able to send that message. No, 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 we are not sending spam. We are Can Spam compliant and remove that domain from the blacklist. There's no other platform that can do that. Um, we have the warm up mesh built in. We have the analytics built in to one platform that, and I've tested this, we have non technical people that are able to go, salespeople are able to go, set up a new tenant, create their email infrastructure, and start sending emails within 10 minutes with no technical capabilities and
Amazing.
at a much lower cost than combining all of these platforms together.
Mhm. That sounds amazing. So, would you say that Globox will help agencies, BPOs? What kind of companies should be acquiring Globox?
So, um, we have. talk to a lot of people in the small business space, both marketing agencies, but also outbound sales teams
Mhm.
that are sending. If you send more than 100 emails, really, if you're sending more than 50 emails a day, doing outbound prospecting, you need to have a real email infrastructure. Otherwise, just turn it off and go get coffee or something, because you were just wasting time and money. And worse than that, here's what a lot of people don't understand is if you go to Contalo.net, that is our email infrastructure for our business. That is our web infrastructure. That's our security infrastructure. That is not just our brand reputation, but that's how we operate. Contalo's operations are completely tied to Contalo.net. And if something were to happen, like, I don't know, we blacklist Contalo.net because we're doing outbound prospecting with that domain, it affects everything about how we operate our business. We've had password resets
Yeah.
go into the spam folder and we can't get them anymore for our business that we're trying to operate. And so we're using, I used this example with Jesus the other day. Let's say that you owned a laundromat and you support your family with this laundromat and you get the idea that you're going to sell drugs. Um, are you going to sell drugs out of the back door of your laundromat? No, you're going to go do that somewhere else. Now, I know sending emails isn't selling drugs, but it can affect your reputation.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be tying your reputation to your main business. Most people don't know this. And as a result, they affect their operations while
Yeah.
they're trying to build their client base, which is necessary for operations. There's ways to implement this. You just have to do it following a standard practice. And so when we go to people and say, "Hey, are you sending 50 emails a day to prospects?" Yes. All right. You need a separate domain for this. You need a separate workspace for this. You need a few mailboxes to be able to rotate over, which means you can't use your current CRM. You have to buy a new tool. You have to integrate the new tool. You have to modify your processes. You have to get a tech team to come in and do this. It makes it outside of the reach of a small business with one or two salespeople or minimal marketing staff. And so that's who we originally really wanted to target, because I've got a heart for small businesses. I've owned small businesses for 20 years. And I've worked with other people, my family members. My sister runs a children's clothing resale shop in South Central Georgia. My family, we're we run small businesses, and my friends, the networking groups that I go to, largely small business owners. So I wanted to build a product that would help them get their message to the right person
Mhm.
and do it successfully. But then we started talking to some other people in places that we care about, Central America and the BPO space. A lot of our friends
Yeah.
are in this space. We have friends that own large agencies, and they're trying to solve this problem. And we can solve it in a similar fashion, just at a different scale. So if you're running agencies, if you're doing email outbound campaigns, more than 50 emails a day is really where you need to start building email infrastructure. And a lot of times people think that it's a tuning issue when really the
Mhm.
capacity is a reputation issue.
Yeah.
And they don't, a lot of folks, especially at that level, they don't know how to implement it. Heck, sales teams and large organizations, they don't have dedicated IT support. They don't have somebody that can authorize them to go out and purchase 5 new domains, set up
Mhm.
workspaces, and create 40 email accounts. How would they achieve that? Well, we can do it for them. We can do it at a budget that's typically within um, their allowable spend.
Yeah, that's important also. Glowbox is not expensive if you really take into consideration the amount of money that you're putting on your campaigns and all the softwares that you're paying for. And then, I mean, if you are placing all that money and budget, but you're not getting to the right person, I
Yep.
think that Glowbox will actually support that, that the strategy and make
Well,
sure that you have a return.
and most sales teams, they understand, if I want to make X number of sales per year, I need to send X number of emails per day, and I need to have X number of people doing that. So when I go to them and say, okay, you're sending 250 emails a day, You have 8 sales reps sending 250 emails a day. And you're doing that so you get, each sales rep gets 1 sale per quarter. And you're getting that because 1% of your target recipients are opening the email. What happens if that jumps to 30%?
Yeah.
What happens if it jumps to 3%? Well, we'll 3x our sales. All right. So 3x your sales is how much money? Buy Glowbox. Like it just doesn't make sense not to.
Exactly. And it's not that expensive. I mean, we're going
No.
to come, to the market with a really good price so people can actually validate our,
Yep.
yeah, our idea. And most important, that they will benefit from it.
Yep. Yeah. And now it's possible because of an invention that was made, of actual innovation that was achieved. So we did come up with something innovative. There was an idea that was there. We took a prototype
Yeah.
to our clients and say, hey, if I build this for you, is that going to help?
Hmm.
And then what we have saying, people saying, let's try it. Let's get set
Yeah.
up. Let's go. I want to try it. I need this. I use this right now. Fernando Labastida has been on this podcast many times. And he's like, when can I start using it? I need
Yeah.
this. And that's when we said, okay, let's invest in this. Let's build this. There's market indicators there. We have pre-sales. We have outbound. We have external pilot users lined up. Let's build it. Let's build it in public. Let's show our audience what problems we're facing. And there have been problems.
Yeah.
Embarrassing ones at times. And we're going to show all of those things. And we're going to show how to. And I believe I'm pretty confident that we will make by the 12th month 1 million ARR. I don't know 100% that we will. I don't know 100% that the market is going to understand our solution to the problem. I don't know that the decision makers are going to feel that it's a problem. There's a lot of things that we don't know. But what we do know is that there's a validated problem with high
Mhm.
urgency, high risk, amount of consequences with enormous pain to a large market audience. And we were able to come up to create an innovative solution to that problem.
I agree. Can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. And you started testing a little bit, and we're going to go over that more in future episodes. But that's Glowbox in a nutshell. Our clients need to deliver their message into the inbox of their target audience, their dream customer. And right now they can't do it, even when that customer has asked them for it.
Yeah.
And Glowbox solves that in an innovative, cost-effective, and user-friendly manner. You have a lot of experience in go-to-market, marketing, sales, customer engagement. I can see a problem, see a solution, maybe build a prototype for it and get it in people's hands, but the connection is often lost. I mean, a product market fit, um, a gap is literally just a separation between what you built and what the customers are trying to solve.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's just messaging, but most of the time, at the very first stages, you didn't validate what you were building with your customer to ensure that they were going to buy it. And that makes you build a product that you love and the customers don't understand. And when you do that, you're going to fail. And I hate that. I hate that for these people that we're talking to. They don't deserve to fail. And and this is where we met that guy from the podcast, Your Startup Sucks. Real fun guy. Yet they're just out there just ripping on these startups, and he's doing it from a good place. But these founders, they don't deserve failure. They put in their effort. They're investing. When you go and raise money, the first round is always friends and family.
Yep.
So they believe in something enough to go ask their friends and family for money, and then they go and they work hard, and then they never validated the concept with the customer. They never took a working version, a beta version of this thing and went and used it to make sure it works. And they never tried it at scale to see if what they built would handle enough capacity to make money, to earn back the money to give back to their parents' retirement fund. Like, these stakes are high, and these founders have really good hearts, and a lot of them are very humble. The arrogant ones get weeded out way before they end up on our podcast, uh,
Mhm.
and yet they fail, and they don't need to. If they catch it early enough. The problems that we have found, then we had one problem where the infrastructure for the email itself was flawed to the point where it wasn't going to work at all. Once you get two boxes, virtual boxes up, it was crashing the server. That would have ended a lot of startups right there. Fortunately, we caught it early. We started testing within 3 weeks of the concept. We started trying to run a pilot within 5 weeks of the concept, and we were able to rely. Thank God, Quintalo, we have so many amazing technical resources, because I was able to go and say, hey, 3 AWS architects, help me figure out what I did wrong here. And they
Mhm.
said, you used the wrong platform, you used the wrong framework level, you have to implement these things. Yes, it's more complex, but you're solving a complicated problem. Awesome. I see the error of my ways. Thank you, AWS mega gurus. Go back and fix it. Literally 48 hours later, we're back on track.
Yeah.
Um, and that's something that you don't get a lot of times when you've got interns, junior developers, and smart neighbors or nephews or whatever out building a product. And so that's just one thing. The other thing, I was completely convinced that I had the right pricing strategy, to the point where I built a pricing calculator and was putting it on our website. And then you and Jesus and Valeria came back and said, hey, this isn't right. You need to build this pricing strategy to incentivize, not penalize, increased worker accounts in the pools. Oh, that's 100% right. You're absolutely right. So, what is this proper strategy looks like? Well, this is what we see, and we've been talking to our target customers, and this is what they're comfortable with.
Yeah. And
Amazing. Let's do that
also,
then.
more important is that the structure that you were trying to, you know, sell will not actually fix the problem for the client, because they don't understand how much
Mhm.
mailboxes pulls their need in order to see a real result. So if you sell something very basic, simple, that is
Yep.
actually not working for them, they want to understand why. And it for us, it's like we have to sell again to someone that already is our client. So
And
for
unhappy.
yeah, and happy. So for us to give them the right package where they're going to see benefits from, it's the best way.
Yeah. And that, I understood the problem, and I understood what I would be comfortable paying. What I didn't understand, I didn't have that subject matter expertise to understand the mindset of the customer, but also the depth of how to apply the technical solution to that specific market need.
Hmm.
And then also, I was thinking, hey, for a partner program, these people, the product itself is a value to them. So let's put the ability to say that they're Glowbox certified partner, and that's the biggest benefit they get, plus maybe 10%. Nobody knows who the heck Glowbox is. Literally, it's a name I picked out of thin air 5 weeks ago. So having to, like, I came up with a name, I made a logo and an AI tool. Thank God we have a better logo now, thanks to Rebecca. But uh, having an AI generated logo with a name that I pulled out of thin air 6 weeks ago and saying, I'm Glowbox certified. Well, what the heck is that? That's no value. And for our partners who have active relationships with the people that we need to reach, and they're already providing services to them, well, that's a valuable relationship, and they're bringing extreme value to us. So we need to provide equal value back to them.
Right.
Um, and yes, that is a hefty investment. But having good partners and good affiliates and a good affiliate program is something that you invest in. If we, and one of the companies I wanted to emulate is High Level. High Level has a very good product. Their customer base is our target customer base. Their affiliates are amazing affiliates for us. And when we started looking, hey, what does their affiliate program look like? They're way more generous than what I was
Yeah.
going to be. And so when we look, why are they doing that? Well, because of the scale. They're growing incredibly fast and they're adding features at a very high rate. Even as they reach maturity, they're still adding cutting edge features constantly because they listen to their partners. They facilitate amazing things for their affiliates, and their affiliates are high. I met with an affiliate in Cancun this summer that has High Level tattooed on his arm.
Oh my God.
No regrets, because he's very proud of that. And so I don't know that I want to permanently put my mark on people, but I want them willing to do it. I want them so in love with what we provide to them that they're willing to wear
Hmm.
that badge until their dying day. And
Hmm.
that's something that High Level has done an amazing job on. And maybe we'll bring one of the
Yeah.
founders on the show to talk about that.
Mhm.
And certainly we can bring one of their affiliates on the show to talk about that. Is how do you build a relationship with your partners to the point that they are gladly wearing your shirts, wearing your hats, getting tattoos, going out there and being proud to say, I am working with this brand and I represent this brand. How do you do that? And my idea wasn't going to do that at all. And it wasn't going to get us to a million ARR. And when you all brought a concept to me that would, my immediate thought was, well, that's not going to happen. Great. Let's get all the terrible ideas out of the way right away. But then Vanny brought a financial model and we started looking at what it actually costs to bring this. And we realized that value is critical, especially in the early days. Let's establish this. And if that means that some of the large potential partners take equity stakes in the company to help us reach our goals, they take large percentages. I think we've settled on a range based off of throughput, or based off of accomplishments, up to 40% of the total sale forever. Which, as an owner, I look at that, I'm like, that's a tough pill to swallow. And then I realized, hey, wait a second, we had an affiliate opportunity come to us, and they said, hey, you should go to your customers and everybody that you have a relationship with and sell this, and we'll give you 15%. And I said, oh, great. Not going to happen. I'm not going to stake my reputation for such a small reward. Oh, okay. I get that's exactly what our partners are going to do. If I'm going to go out and say I need you to support your customer, I need you to bring my product to your customer, I'll give you a few pennies on the dollar. They're not going to do it.
Yep.
No.
Glad you understand now the business model. So it's not only the business itself is what it comes around, like the marketing strategy,
Yep.
the communication strategy, social media approaches, events. I mean, it's everything. When you're building a company, it's everything. So that's
Yep.
why at the beginning of the conversation, I said that you have to be surrounded to great people that is going to help you walk through this path. And, if they're good at what they're doing, they will help you. And it's not only the technology, but also what comes with it.
Yeah. And I mean, we're going to talk about team building, but we have 14 people that have touched Glowbox.
Hmm.
Glowbox has existed for what, 6 weeks now?
Hmm.
And we have had project managers, go to market experts, subject matter experts, software engineers, DevOps engineers, business analysts, marketing analysts, our digital marketing professional, you and your team. Um, it They say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, a startup is basically a child, right? And
Yeah.
it takes a pretty good sized village.
Yeah.
And thank God Cantalo has all those resources, or I would be going out and trying to hire for all of that. But I mean, we've had UI UX designers and brand designers and graphics designers and all of these people out surrounding this thing just to get it to a point where we can go out and test it and then start bringing it to market. And we're going to have these people working for 3 months before we see our first dollar.
Mhm. And yep, that's
And
how
we
it.
will get a return off this. I'm highly confident we're going to get a return off this. But when you first say, "Hey, I have an idea," awesome, let's get it out to market. You don't realize exactly what it takes to do that successfully. And
Mhm.
a lot of our founders, they don't have the resources to do it. All right. Well, thanks again, Javi. And so this is what this whole season of the Catalyst Effect is going to be: is build in public a solution that solves a painful and urgent high consequence problem for a large and known audience. So let's tune in and let's see if we can do it. We'll sleep next year, Javi. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
One of the biggest inhibitors to actually reading your goal is making sure that you've got the right email in front of the right person at the right time, the right message, however you send it to them, right? And this is definitely a problem so at Contalo, we've solved this problem. We have on a cold email outbound, we have a 45% open rate, which is unheard of, right? You've done some research on this. Have you ever heard of a 45% cold open email rate?
Yeah, that's high. And the problem is that we identified this issue when it's too late
Yeah.
because our work is reactive. So there's no way to identify it. If you say, okay, I was getting 3 meetings last week, now I'm not getting any meeting, and maybe I haven't changed my sequences.